I think this video is gonna. I wouldn't play it after I do the street conversation because I think this video doesn't matter. The idea of what 1090 Jake does sometimes, not all the time anymore, he's diversified, but even what Whack 100 does, right? Like, yo, we got to work on him. Yo, he's a snitch. Yo, I just don't think that these things exist anymore. People, like, the rappers themselves are telling you, yo, this shit's over. Like, you have the rappers who the only music they make that's relevant is street music. They're saying fuck the streets. That's a really interesting dynamic. And we're going to explore the dichotomy of that shortly after we're going to play this real quick. Anyway, I'll give you the short before this plays. Apparently, Florida rapper Glokk9ine, who I remember him like getting caught up in a RICO, they're saying that paperwork has came out that he cooperated on 4 murders while he was locked in federal prison. Like, you ever wonder how some of these guys get out? Like, you hear like, hey, he's convicted of a RICO. And you're like, all right, we'll never hear about that guy again. Then 3 years later, you're like, yeah, he's free. And he's like back doing crime. You're like, how the hell did he get out? So let's listen to this for a while and chat the next topic. If you guys are here, grab some popcorn, you know what I mean? Start texting your chicks, figure out what you're going to do for the night. You got to get some cheeks. And for my chat queens, you know, y'all not hoes. So just keep scrolling TikTok on your iPad while you watch me on your phone or your laptop, all right?
Everybody, welcome back to another episode.
I'm going to do 1.25 speed, and I might still skip through it a bit. We don't want to be, you know?
So the EOS is 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on Orlando rapper Glokk9ine, the new paperwork that just hit my desk. Got to be a little more careful. Just hit my desk of him snitching in the feds. Now you don't have to crash to get cash. There's an app called Free Cash, and all you have
okay. Got the sponsorship going.
to do is screenshot the crazy RICO charges. There was a gang war between his group, AFNF, and then Hot Boys Group 438. Cutum Reese was involved. Fucking Glokk9ine allegedly went to Cutum Reese's house, shot it up while Cutum Reese's mom and sisters were inside. Like, he wasn't even there. But the craziest thing about it all is Glokk9ine is supposed to be cousins with Cutum Reese, so he shot his own aunt's house up. Like, the story is just extensive. But 2 years ago, Ola Runt, as y'all can see right here, accused Glokk9ine of snitching while they were in the same federal prison. And it was said Glokk9ine actually got stabbed behind the situation. Multiple shootings, multiple attempted murders, and I'm not the only person that's covered this situation. You know, we got some big channels, Hip Hop Daily, Trap Geek. I don't know who this one is, but let's actually just take a look at Trap Geek's masterpiece, because this is, if I've never told y'all before, Trap Geek is the reason I ever got into these documentary style videos that I started doing after.
Yeah, Orlando Magic. Why everybody get that concept of Disney and all that? I don't know. I guess that's just how they see it from the outside.
Well, the FBI typically doesn't telegraph our moves. What I can tell you is that these 2 gangs, the 438 gang and the Army gang, have got our attention now.
The other 5 already in custody are responsible for nearly $2 million in stolen property.
This beat is nasty.
59 stolen vehicles and 19 stolen firearms.
The prominent people at the top, just between those 8 people, they're responsible for 230 felony charges. Jaquavius Smith, better known as Glokk9ine, just him himself has been arrested for 52 felonies.
Hi, what is up everybody? It's been far too long. The last episode was in Florida, and for this video, we gotta return there once more. This time to Disney World's Orlando, where folks witnessed one of the largest RICO cases in state history, Operation X, take 34 people down from 2 separate crews. To show you what this looks like, the entire Bobby Shmurda and GS9 indictment was 63 pages. This RICO case in Florida is 700 pages long.
What?
God, like, y'all don't even understand how big of a case this was when this happened. It's so much deeper than a lot of people know. And the thing is, I mean, technically Disney's in Kissimmee. It's not in Orlando. One of my first memories as a kid that grew up north coming down to Disney.
All right, we're going to skip through it a bit.
Okay, you can.
like hitting daycares and memorials. The city saw 30 back-to-back shootings in 6 months, and it forced Orlando to bring in the MBI, or Metropolitan Bureau of Investigations, basically Florida's version of the FBI, who built this whole case using wiretaps, Instagram, and evidence they found on people's phones. Sometimes thousands of photos and videos that map out drug routes from Orlando to California, with folks taking trips back and forth, smuggling hundreds of thousands of dollars in suitcases, flying girls out separate to bring the product home, where they launder the profits through cars, guns, and show dogs. Glokk9ine, who signed a $2 million deal with Young Money and Birdman when he was only 18, now faces 52 charges, including frauding the government out of $10,000 through a series of PPP loan scams that got intercepted when he tried showing it off to his friends on Instagram. And when the news dropped of a pending RICO charge, his once friend turned rival, Hot Boy, decided to go on the run, and then turned himself in, but then went on the run again after they revoked his bond.
I love how I'm watching this. Like, I don't know all of this, but you know, that's just the power. Take y'all, because
We're going to get to the interesting part, Chad. I know.
Bystanders on the internet to take off with rumors and speculation as Orlando rapper Glokk9ine was now accused of snitching. This was the same rapper who's been hit with a Florida RICO, tied to a gang war within Orlando, and allegedly shot up his own cousin's house for being in an opposite gang. But the craziest aspect of this new allegation isn't the actual allegation. It's the fact that Ola Runt is calling him out while both rappers are currently in the same federal prison. Ola Runt was arrested back in 2020 within Operation Phoenix, an FBI takedown of 12 of Atlanta's most violent offenders.
did y'all see who else was in that? Yo, somebody told me I don't have to hit the rewind.
The other hand, was named as the leader of a gang known as the Army, or AFNF, based in the Mercy Drive area of Orlando. He'd be one of 34 people indicted on RICO charges, stemming from what law enforcement described as a war with the rival 438 gang.
Let's just skip to the part where we're talking about the snitchery.
Thank you.
USP Hazleton. Known as Misery Mountain, it's made headlines in recent years with the infamous prison murder of Irish crime boss Whitey Bulger, who met a brutal ending only hours after arriving.
Bro, they beat that man with locks. They said that they pulled his eyes out or cut his tongue out, all types of shit. They fucked him up bad.
The biggest red flag within a federal case would be a 5K1 motion, which essentially means a sentencing reduction in return for substantial assistance in the prosecution of others, aka snitching. Glokk9ine definitely doesn't have a 5K1, but what was interesting is a few pages of his plea deal.
Here we go.
On page 6, the 12th term of the plea is cooperation.
Of course, the 12th term of the plea is going to be where my fucking little box is that shows me.
In which the defendant, or Glokk9ine, agrees to cooperate fully with the U.S. investigation and prosecution of others.
So basically, I can remember what the gist of this was, right? In his plea agreement, he was agreeing to cooperate, but there was no cooperation, which is retarded, right? And he had his lawyer go back and take that section out completely, and they came out with a new plea agreement. So it was said that Ola Runt must have had the old plea where it said he agreed to cooperate.
Oh.
And he didn't have the new one that said he refused. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So because of that, they used the old plea against him. Some shit happened. He gets poked up, whatever. But the paperwork we now have tells a completely different story. Now, this is the official Orange County Clerk court records.
I like that Jake does this. He actually opens up the website. He's showing you that he's not doing... Do people do fake paperwork, I guess? I guess fake paperwork's a thing. So, like, what Jake is doing is really good. You know, some people, I believe, would gatekeep how they're getting some of this stuff, but, like, all this stuff is public information if it's actually legit. And he just kind of shows how he gets these things.
Website. This is going to be every single case Glokk9ine has ever caught, but we want to specifically focus on this one here. Now, we're just going to scroll down a little piece. October 27, 2025, this transcript was filed with 99 pages. This is what we're going to get into. Now, this is a motion.
Who has fake paperwork?
To suppress. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is my first time reading through it as well. So we're going to briefly skim. And if I skip it all, it's because it was just bullshit. So they bring up Glokk9ine's former lawyer as a witness. And there's a direct examination. Good afternoon. Tell me your name. He's an attorney. And it's basically just going to talk about his background, what he does, what he did. Now, this is saying he was an attorney for Glokk9ine. To the best of my recollection, the first case I represented him on was either a 4 or 5 count attempted murder case. The case eventually got, thrown out. He beat it on the day of trial. I also represented him on a couple of state charges for possession of a firearm. And you were actually representing Mr. Smith in this very case that we're here on today. I didn't mention that. What I mentioned was in the cases that I completed with him, but I did represent him on the current RICO charges that are pending against him. Now this states, they're asking where he was on April 6, 2023, and where was Glokk9. He's saying Glokk9 was in federal prison in West Virginia, the one that we were just watching the video about, right? And it states that detectives traveled to this West Virginia prison to interview him. Now this is where things are about to get interesting, and I just want to, you know, Glokk9 fans, y'all gonna have to hold this one. This one's gonna suck for y'all. What did the detective tell you occurred? He said they went to see him and they were investigating a homicide, and they believed that Jaquavius had some information for them. And that they told him that this was the one and only time they would go see him. But when he asked to speak with me in the interview, they said that was a reasonable request and that they would extend that offer or go visit him one more time if he wanted to speak with him. So basically what they're saying is they wanted to talk to him. They wanted information on a murder. He asked to talk to his lawyer, which isn't a bad move. He also told me this would serve two purposes for, in theory, two separate cases. He told me that he has an affidavit, a lengthy affidavit for an arrest warrant for Glokk9 on a homicide where he would conspiracy to homicide that he had drawn up, and Jaquavius had a choice of cooperating and he would be a witness in that, or not cooperating, he will walk that warrant over to the judge. So basically they went to Glokk9 and said, look, you either cooperate in this case as a witness or we're hitting you with conspiracy to commit murder. Conspiracy to commit murder means he must have had something to do with the planning of this, so this is meaning he would be cooperating against his own people. Okay, so his lawyer is saying he's trying to negotiate the case to go away. Glokk9 will cooperate in the 4 murders: Dexter Rents, Demetrius Cox, Dominique Aldridge, and...
How the hell is this info public? So usually if you tell your lawyer, oh, I killed someone, that's attorney-client privilege, and someone can't be compelled to, like, I think this, let me see, when does attorney-client privilege overrule? Let's see, when can you overrule it? It's powerful, but not absolute. It's overruled by exceptions like crime fraud exception, seeking advice for future crimes. What? Waiver through voluntary disclosure, or when the lawyer acts in a non-legal capacity. But that's a legal capacity. He told them, I'll talk to you, but I want my lawyer here. The lawyer goes there. But then the lawyer is in some deposition or some like interrogation, and the lawyer is telling exactly what his client said. Oh, no, never mind. No, it's still attorney-client privilege. No, actually, it's not attorney-client privilege. Sorry, it's not. Attorney-client privilege actually ends when there's a third person there. So attorney-client privilege is only, and I only know this because, like, I think on my dog bite case, I wanted my assistant to like handle certain stuff because I was like, I'm bogged down with calls and shit, and I was like, yo. I tell the lawyer, I'm like, yo, my assistant could be on the call, and they instantly tell me, yo, attorney-client privilege. There is no attorney-client privilege if you have anybody else but me and you on this call. And I'm like, fuck. So yeah, I think that's why. Because the detectives are there, there is no attorney-client privilege, which attorney-client privilege is only something you speak to your lawyer about in private. That's what I believe. So, there's some lawyers in here. They're going to DM me.
Cordell Otwell. These are all 4 murder victims. And his lawyer is saying, to the best of my memory, those are the names that he was providing and discussing. They asked the lawyer leading up to whatever. Was there in fact a statement or a proffer that was given by Glokk9 subsequent to April 6th? His lawyer would say yes. Now this would get further into Glokk9 didn't want to give a statement without his lawyer present. And the reason for that was he just wanted to make sure he was getting what he was told. And I mean, on countless pages, they're basically breaking down. He's going to get immunity. He's not going to be charged with the murder. His lawyer's trying to get the RICO thrown out completely. Glokk9 is sitting down with the feds in a West Virginia prison. They're telling him they have a warrant for murder, an affidavit that they could turn into a warrant. They could sign it. They could charge him with murder, or he could cooperate. And he said,
oh, and I guess those meetings are documented too, right? Because there's an investigator in the room talking to you and you're locked up. Those meetings are documented by a tape recorder or something that the investigators have. So even when you get your lawyer and your lawyer comes in the room, it's also documented. So it's not necessarily a thing of attorney-client privilege because it was being recorded from the get-go.
Saying, I'll cooperate, but I want my lawyer here so I know I am getting my end of the deal. Now this right here on page 36 states, during the interview, Glokk9 provided incriminating information against himself relating to the murders of Dexter Rents, Demetrius Cox, Dominique Aldridge, and Cordell Atwell. So he gave the interview, and he told them some things that could hurt himself. Now right here, the lawyer is saying that he had a chat with Glokk9ine to make sure he understood the conversation, that he couldn't lie, and that if he doesn't do his part, he's not going to get the benefits. He needs to be truthful. Everybody flew up there for it. You know, they got to fly investigators from Florida to fucking West Virginia. He's telling Glokk9ine if he isn't truthful, this is going to be a waste of time. They made sure he understood. He acknowledged that he understood. They went in. We also, again, discussed what he was getting in terms of benefits in the case. And it states right here on page 38, tell the court what those conversations were, or after the interview, or after the proffer of Mr. Smith on May 18th, 2023. What conversations did you have with the police officers? And Glokk9ine's own lawyer would say, when we walked out, everybody was surprised at how well the interview went. Now, I don't think we're going to get all the details from these transcripts, and it's hard for me to understand what exactly the motion to suppress is for. Like, are they mad that he didn't get certain benefits or whatever the situation is? But Glokk9ine 100% sat down with the feds, gave a proffer, made statements, and solely for the benefit of saving himself from another murder case. And people are going to be like, oh, but who did he give information on? I mean, we might not know that, but we know he gave it because there was no other purpose for him.
Yeah, but I got to be honest with you, 1090 Jake. We've just sanctioned that you could sit with the cops as long as you're flirting, you're doing this. You could talk to the cops. If you're trying to bring a man home, you're trying to lie, you can sit with the cops. Yeah.
To sit down. Meaning Jaquavius provided the information that they wanted. They were absolutely shocked that they did, and they were very happy that they did. There was a comment by me to make sure that no, but yeah, it was a recurring basic interjection of our conversations throughout, not only as we were walking out of the prison, but through the ride to the airport, that they were surprised that Jaquavius, aka Glokk9ine, was forthright with them and answered their questions. So the police officers told you that he had provided significant useful information. They said he did great. They were surprised. And yes, with that being said, I think Glokk9ine's career is, it's obviously over. You got hit with like 8 years in the feds. You know what I mean?
No, it ain't.
But while being in there, deciding to work with the feds, that's crazy. And it makes more sense as to why he got poked up, if that's actually how that played out. The mafia, if you listen to all the guys that do interviews, the former mob guys, they say you can't even sit down and hear what the offer is. Never mind actually go through with the interrogation. And there's no rebounding off of this. If the police want to investigate 4 murders and they sit you down and say, if you don't help us, we're going to charge you with murder. And then when they leave, they say, damn, he told us everything. I was surprised at how much fucking snitching he did. Like, you got the police high-fiving. They didn't even expect you to do what you did. That's terrible. That's not a good look for Orlando. But hey, let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comments section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.
Now, I want to be honest with y'all, chat. I want to tell y'all. Shout out to my man 1090 Jake. But I blame 3 individuals, chat. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't want him to be like, yo, I could. No. I'm saying it facetiously. It's 3 individuals why every rapper is now saying the street is dead. Or fuck the streets. It's 1090 Jake, Traplo Ross, Whack 100. After they done exposed everybody as talking too much, snitching, he told back then, rappers are backed into a corner that the only way to kind of come out of this is to say fuck the streets. I got to be honest, bro. Got to be honest. These motherfuckers, you realize everybody was cool when nobody was being held accountable. Or the people held accountable was, oh, we don't fuck with that nigga anyway, so let us hold him accountable. Not like fans being able to hear these stories and be like, well, what about him? And what about him? And I know y'all cool with him, but what about him? That's what fucked it up. Y'all do realize that, right? Now, let me get into this, chat. Let me get into this. And I do want to be honest with you, Chad. Today when I seen this tweet, it was a tweet from King Spider. And what King Spider said was, fuck the street, Savage. Today was the day I realized, chat. You know how they said Jesus died on the sins for our died on the cross for our sins? The streets died for Thug, I think. I've got to be honest with y'all. The streets died for Thug. I feel like everybody is in a place where everybody's calling out the picking and choosing. Chat, y'all let me know, and we're going to go through it. I believe the streets died for Thug. Because applying the same standards to Thug would make everybody look crazy. So the streets is on the cross and is looking at all the niggas who subscribe to him. They're 12 disciples. The 12 disciples are sitting there. You got Pooh Shiesty over there, G Herbo right there. You got everybody. And the streets is on the cross. And the streets is saying, so I gotta die because y'all don't want to keep the same energy with one nigga. And everybody said, yeah, yeah, fuck the streets. That's what I personally believe, Chad. I gotta be honest. Why do I say that? And we're going to have grown-up discussion. We're not going to only be facetious. I do believe this idea of fuck the streets and what Savage is talking about is a very real thing in the sense of I do believe the streets is reductive. I've always said it. It's cannibalistic. It's never been progressive. I will say, though, that the timing is eerie, and that's going to make people feel that it may not be sincere. Okay? I don't know. I feel like I don't have a voice in this. And I shouldn't, right? Like, I'm not a street dude. So I'm going to take this from a different angle. I agree in theory, and I'll stand with solidarity with these guys. You know why? First of all, I'm the king of the sidewalk. So if they're saying, yo, let's eliminate the streets and everybody's on the sidewalk, great. Welcome to my crib, okay? I'll give y'all the rules. Take y'all shoes off at the door. Bathroom's there. That's your room over there, Shiesty. That's your room over there, G Herbo. We got you. Like, the sidewalk is amazing. So I agree with this idea of fuck the streets because there is like, this is the first time I've seen rappers almost kind of like seemingly start taking the motto of being role models and leaders into their own hands. They're like, nah, this thing called the streets is stupid. It is stupid. Right? Now, granted, we're going to have to also get into this because we do love street music. The same way we love gangster movies, right? Like, nobody loves killing, but you love gangster movies, right? Nobody thinks, like, selling fentanyl is great, but you love drug dealing movies. Like, nobody thinks that robbers are cool, but you love, like, a good bank heist movie. Like, we are entertained by these things, and we're going to have to debate and really speak about how these things kind of fall and will, kind of match up because there's many different messages to get. The first message I'm going to agree with is that if we're saying that rappers have the ability to influence the people who are listening and to kind of, they're seen as the cool guys to set the trends. If they're saying that, hey, listen, maybe you guys shouldn't, subscribe to this street lifestyle or street codes where you go give up your life and think that your man won't fuck your baby mama while you get locked up, or your man gonna take care of her life, or you go do a crime with your homie and you think he gonna hold it down and he end up telling on you. Fuck the streets because I've always said, if you can't trust a nigga to obey the law, why do you think you're gonna do crime with him, break the law, and he's gonna then adhere to certain codes because while he's disobeying others? Like, a criminal to me, while, I think there's no code and no honor among thieves or criminals. There's an honor among brotherhood. And this is where I want to take this idea of fuck the streets. I want to get that out of here because this is a cool slogan. I get it. And I agree with it. But this is the conversation we're going to have, right? You know, is fuck the streets also means fuck integrity? Does it mean fuck solidarity? Does it mean fuck loyalty? Does it mean fuck all share codes? Because when you say fuck the streets, like the streets is not actually an actual place, right? Like, you know, I was listening to G Malone and he was making some good points today. I might play what he said, even though I don't want to play it because he was too critical of my mans. Okay, that's my boy. But still, the streets aren't like an actual place, right? Like if, you know, if we're talking about just a pavement in between two sidewalks, if you have people of opulence that live there, it's going to be Beverly Hills. If you have low-income people that live there, it might be a crime-ridden place. So it's not like, even though it might seem like a physical place, it's usually we're denigrating what the streets is, or we're marketing it as a place where people don't have opportunities. So when we think about places like that, there's many things that come into play, right? And without, you know, I might even hop on Discord for a bit, but I don't know if I got maybe I call a street nigga. I probably need a street nigga to talk about this. Actually, maybe I should call Savage. I would love to kind of. Should I get a debate going on with Savage? I don't know if he's around. Okay. The point is this. Thug said, fuck the streets. Right? Big 30 said, fuck the streets. G Herbo, fuck the streets. I didn't think Shiesty was going to join in because, you know why? Like, and this is where we're going to get into problems. And I was kind of surprised Shiesty even said anything. If you listen to Shiesty's music, that's the number one song in hip-hop right now. He's basically rededicating his life to the streets. He's saying, yeah, I came out of jail, but I'm back in the streets, okay? We could just read through the lyrics, okay? Here we go. And by the way, this is another thing I need clarification on. What is the streets? Right? That's what I'm saying. It's not a physical place, but what does it mean? Because when I hear, if you're talking about, yo, I got my members with me. Yo, that's the gang. Isn't that street talk? Or maybe it's not. Like, I don't know what fuck the streets mean. That's my thing, right? Here we go. I get mad when I look around. My members ain't where they're supposed to be. A whole war going on. I'm stuck in a cage. It drove me crazy. He said, unfortunately, I'm the CEO and top shooter for my gang. My grandma told me to keep my grass low. Whole time I'm the snake. Smell this plot for 3 miles away. He said, I ain't chose the streets. They chose me. Stepping on shit is my lane. I ain't chose rap. It chose me. My name hold too much weight. Type of influence that I got. Yo Gotti told the Drake, when you meet me, you gonna get real motivated the same day. I don't know what, like, this idea of, the only confusing thing I was saying, because I think in totality this is a good message, is that Pooh Shiesty just dropped the toughest song all year. Like, he's not saying, yo, man, fuck the streets. I'm back on here. I'm just trying to get some money. You know what he said? Yo, I ain't shot nothing in 4 years. I ain't sent a hit in 3. Don't let Dirk verse get to your head. Ain't nobody slime, it's me. Like, I'm confused on what the streets is. So, while I agree with the principle, I'm not sure if that's just a slogan. And this is why I'm saying the streets died for Thug. Because I'm with y'all with fuck the streets if y'all aren't going to make music that's going to propagate street activity from people listening. All of these guys are millionaires that's talking. I would hope that they're not picking up guns and shooting people. But you do know who's going to be listening to this. It's going to be a bunch of YNs, young kids that live, again, in the streets. And I keep telling you, the streets is just not a physical place. It's where people that lack economic opportunities live at, that are impoverished, and then usually resort to crime and violence because it's surrounding them, and that's the way that they have to survive. They're the people who feel like these type of songs are the blueprint and the rules to their life. So if you're saying fuck the streets, you shouldn't make street music. Right? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Because if you're like, yo, I'm going to spin a block and spin again, am I wrong? Like, I don't know. Like, it's usually I'm on here and I'm cooking, but I'm not a street dude. So, like, I feel like I need someone to debate with. Because I want to be fair about, like, how I'm processing this and how I'm looking at it. Somebody said, what the fuck you're talking about? Okay. I don't want to call whack. The reason why I want to call whack is that I don't want to call whack first. I want to call somebody. G Malone said he'll join. Is G Malone around? Did he say that on Twitter? I don't even think G Malone likes me, bro. But I did listen to his thing, and he sounded pretty passionate. He had a point. Bro, y'all just be lying to me, man. This nigga did not say he would join. I'd get him on here. I would love to hear his perspective, but I did hear his perspective when I heard it earlier. I want to hear a argument that's for what's happening. Like, I would love to talk to Glokk9ine now. I would love to talk to Thug now, because I'm gonna be honest with you, it feels like the streets is getting denounced because it's forcing people to go against their friend. Their friend is Young Thug. And I said yesterday, I'm like, bro, I wish these street dudes would just say, yo, listen, yo, I'm a street nigga, but like, that's my friend. I'm not going against him. Whatever y'all say he is, cool. That's my nigga, though. I'm not going against him. And friendship outweighs any street shit. And I would think that would be. Like, you don't know niggas in the street like that. Like, how you got a shared code that could go against a nigga who probably, when you got locked up, he sent money to your mom? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares? So I think that's more important, if you ask me. But it might not be that. So let me just go down it, and if we could get G Malone on here, I will. If I could get someone else, I do want to get Wack on here, and I will. Here's the thing. I think we know Wack's perspective, and, you know, this is a conversation that is much more than an echo chamber where you know where I'm at. I'm not a street dude. You know how Wack feels already without him talking. This is why I want to bring in G Malone, and if you know, yeah. Oh, I would love to call Zay Osama too. Yeah. I think I'll call Zay Osama. Yeah, I would love to call Zay Osama. All right. So I want to call Zay Osama, and I kind of, I mean, I wish I could call like Thug. Maybe I try to get Savage on here or something like that, just to give that perspective, because having me being I get it, I got the platform, but being the person who has the burden to represent all sides is unfair, I think. Okay, so Glokk9ine says traumatized, F the streets. Now, and this is what I'm saying, I got questions, because is he saying, yo, I've just lost people, I've lost time of my life, which is true, he went to prison, so fuck what the streets has done on a trauma level, right? When G Herbo says fuck the streets, like, G Herbo was just arguing with some nigga about could he come back to a block, and the dude died. Like, that didn't say, nigga, fuck the streets, I'm over here, like, you know, in mansions, I don't need to be where y'all are at. He was talking about, nigga, I could go where I want to go. He was talking street shit. But maybe he's talking about fuck the streets, and, man, do you know how many homies I've done lost? You know, G Herbo also made an album called PTSD. So, you know, I'm trying to be fair a bit. The person, if I ain't gonna lie to you, if Young Boy say fuck the streets, is over. if Young Boy tweet out fuck the streets, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. But he didn't. Duty Low, who is, you know, a OTF member, he said fuck the streets as well. right? Who else? Wife and Lucci said fuck the streets. And I could get it. I feel like Wife and Lucci has lost a lot. Like, you know, for all it's worth, he's just lost a lot. He lost a lot of time. He lost people. There's not much he's gained. And I get that. And maybe it's how I'm envisioning it. When he says fuck the streets, it feels like he's saying, man, fuck what is taken from me. I feel like when some other niggas saying fuck the streets, they're saying fuck the codes associated with the streets. And that's where I'm confused about. Because if I'm, in my opinion, the streets died for Young Thug. The streets died on the cross for Young Thug. So when people are saying fuck the streets, it also means fuck the street codes. Because primarily what the conversation has been, hey, if y'all feel that Gunna is whatever, and y'all feel that so-and-so is whatever, well, you got to keep the same energy for Young Thug. That's codes that's supposedly ingrained in the streets. That isn't about pain and whatever. That's about these codes that are street-oriented codes. So this is why I keep saying the streets is dying for Thug. I know, like, when I'm looking at Lucci's thing, it kind of feels like he's saying, like, it's like he's saying that fuck the streets and it's taken so much from me. So not necessarily like, oh, fuck the streets because, you know, for Young Thug type shit. But I don't know. It's like confusing. I'm trying to get some clarification on this. Who else said for the streets? By the way, I will say, if you never thought Savage, you know, Savage might be like the most like influential street dude other than Dirk, I gotta be honest. Savage is almost telling these niggas, he's like, what y'all waiting on? He tagged a couple niggas. Baby Drill, Lil One DTE, Benji Bluebills. Like he's and by the way, I will say, we'll get into this later. He posted a picture of Quavo and Offset on the phone. Big 30 said that, yeah. Says, on our dead bros, I see what you're doing, my brother. And it's time I'm with you. You know that. Let's give the world a different look at us. Okay. Now, when I see that, I feel like they're saying the streets in terms of the violence and stuff like that, that's just stupid. We're just losing. We're losing our lives. We're losing friends. We're losing valuable time by going to jail. And I agree with that. Stupid. But I'm still at the part where we're saying, if that's what y'all talking about, everybody's going to celebrate, y'all stop beefing. But we then still got to get to these supposed codes. But it's one of those things that might be like, well, if we said fuck the streets, the codes don't matter no more. I don't know. I don't know, man. Okay. But yeah, I was surprised. Yo, Savage really got every nigga really involved, like talking that shit about this. And that's when I realized that nigga Savage got some power. Wow. Okay. Who should I call? You know what? Maybe I call Rollo. I would love to call Rollo. I think Rollo would have some good insight, huh? I think Rollo would have some amazing insight on this. Let's see. Hopefully he didn't change his number. Somebody said, this is what you wanted, now you're confused. No. You're not getting what I'm saying. If you're saying this is what I wanted, I don't believe for a second these niggas are going to stop making street music, right? So when you hear fuck the streets, you would think that people, it's not only about this mentality, it's also about the music that's associated with it. This song that Pooh Shiesty just put out, that's going to be number one, at least in hip hop, it's a street song. So if you're down with the fuck the street movement, brother, you got to make songs about fucking hoes, to getting some money, like not, yo, I ain't sent a hit in 4 years. I ain't shot somebody in 4 years and I ain't sent a hit in 3. Like, that's not the type of music you should be making. Like, are we going to be honest? Are we gonna be honest or no? So for me, when I see everybody co-sign, I'm like, damn, fuck. I guess we won't get another shicey song that's talking street shit. Woody say he's not with the movement? You want me to get Woody on here? Maybe I can get Woody on here. I don't have G Malone's number, so I don't know how to contact him. Like, honestly, I want to start the conversation off by getting the side that agrees with it. Shit. Let me see. All right, nice. Let me. Let's see. I'm trying to pull some string. Somebody said call Sauce Walker. I feel you. We call Sauce Walker. He gonna say the wrong thing. What did Sauce Walker say? Did he say anything? Okay. Yeah, I would love to hear what Sauce Walker got to say. Oh, he has not said nothing.
You police ass nigga, don't be talking about fuck the streets now, cause everybody snitching. Bitch, I went and did 10 years behind this shit. Bitch, I love the streets. Ain't no motherfucker fuck the streets, just fuck the snitches. Fuck road child.
Let me see. I think this is Sauce Walker's number. I don't know. Is this him? But he's not with it. Wait, that video, he's not with it. I want to hear people that's with it. Because their explanation might be very different than what we're thinking. Right? Because he posted this video. Yeah, I've seen this video posted by a couple people. Is he?
Police ass nigga, don't be talking about fuck.
So Act went over when Lil Tim got arrested for stop. Man, you hear the gunshots in the background and everything. You can't be surprised that Lil Tim got the blick on him, bro. I don't even know how Lil Tim even lives around that area, bro. If the police pull you over and all you hear in the background is shots going off, and then you hear going on the police thing, shots fired, like, bro, you do not need to be around that area, bro. But man, it's a crazy world we live in. That's the main thing I could say. Crazy, 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 crazy world we live in. You know, he got freed for it, but man, I don't blame him, bro. Like, he doesn't know who's trying to catch him like next. You know, Lil Tim, keep it on him. Lil Tim is a very dangerous man, bro. Like, someone like him driving a Toyota, I don't know what Toyota was, a Camry, I'm guessing, just driving around, you feel me? We don't know what's going through Lil Tim's head. He was on point too on the video. But hey, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what's up with everything. It's your boy Big Act News, and I'm out.